we got going on today?
Nice sneeze. Thank you very much for that. Run, Forrest, run. Hey, what's up, Venom? Sorry about that. Alright, so that's my 40 purifications for the week. Now I gotta wait a week in order to purify again. But that should be fine. Yeah, brother. I get that. Got allergies later on in life. I don't know how the hell that happened. I had gone up to the mountains for a little bit in Pennsylvania, and when I came back, I wound up having allergies. And now every morning, that's my struggle. I get up, I'm congested. I got to get rid of all that. So I do a little workout in my gym, and then that kind of breaks everything up, and then the sneezing starts during the day. Especially when the pollen count is like high, or it's like not humid, but the heat rises. There's a little bit of humidity. It's not that bad though. That's like another 2 years, brother. I'm 54 right now. I know I don't sound it. I know I don't talk like it, but yeah, I'm 54. So I'm an old head. Well, what we used to call an old head in Philly. But I'm a young old head. That's how I look at it, because I don't feel old. I don't look old. I don't, you know, I'm still young looking. People always tell me I'm in my 30s now. So I'm cool with that, getting that compliment. That's an enjoyable compliment to have. To have someone tell you look 30. Yeah, but I'm getting up in age. You start feeling that as you start getting older, right? Like your bones don't work the same way they used to. So, so now them steps become a little heavier, right? You're not as light in your spring. Your spring isn't there. I got an active job, so it's physically demanding, and I'm always constantly, like I said, I work out on my spare time. So, I mean, I got a damn home gym right in my office. It's literally right next to me as I'm playing on the computer. So, who wouldn't work out when you can? Doesn't sit there to hang furniture or I'm sorry, clothes on. I've seen. My ex used to do this. She had a running machine, and every time I would come down, I would run uh, about 2.5 miles in the morning time before I would go to work. Right, so I would come down. I would have to remove all her clothes that are hanging on her running machine to, off the running machine so that I could use the running machine so that I could run before I went to work. So I would get up probably around 4:30 in the morning. I would come down. I would run for approximately 23 minutes, and then um, go up, take my shower, get dressed, go to work. Because I drive. I have a CDL, so I'm in the construction field. So what I do is I drive. Uh, I use a boom. I don't know if you know what a boom is, or a piggyback to deliver construction material to construction sites. And we load our own truck, so that's the physical part about the job because we have to pull the orders too. But anyway, so I do that, and then I come home, and then I run another 2.5 miles, take my shower, eat dinner, stay up for a couple hours, and then go to work again. That isn't what I'm doing now. I'm just saying what I was doing um, when I was with my ex. It was like a couple years ago. Anyway, I still got, I still drive. I still do CDL work, but it's more part-time now than anything else. I'm like semi-retired. And I work for a union, so, I get paid very well. I don't have to work normal hours like everybody else. Anyway, that used to be my daily routine, but it always cracked me up. Oh, did you? Holy shit, brother. All right. 18 years? Yeah, but you were driving big rigs, right? You were driving big rigs, so you weren't driving. I'm driving boom trucks and, piggybacks, stake bodies, things like that. Buses, yeah. I have my A, but for the most part, I only do Class B work because it's the union job that I had. So, well, it's a union job that I have. So, but you were driving big rigs. 18 years, man. I love driving. Let me tell you, that is the most liberating experience in any job that you can do. You got to deal with. Yeah, I deal with the boss in the morning time, and I have to deal with the boss. So I get my truck done, everything that needs to be done, and then I used to go drive it. When I would go out on the road, it's peace, right? You don't really have to answer to anybody. You just got to get to your job. But that driving part is just nothing but peace for you in your road, on the road. I used to love that, man. As soon as I would pull out of the shop, I would be happy again. Anytime I was at the shop, I hated it. But when I would pull out, man, that was a beautiful feeling. All right, what do I got to do? Oh, shit, I know what I got to do. I got to see. 19 hours, okay. Ugh, I can't wait for this to be done. I technically don't have anything to do. I mean, I've literally done all my well, no, I haven't. I got this one over here that I can do. Okay, that works. So that is where we're going to go. Yeah, I loved it, man. Loved it. But now I got a lot of time to game. So, for the most part, that's what I do. I just want to come in the game. I want to enjoy the game. I don't want the headache that's always in chat. Or at least yesterday was in chat like crazy. People just going nuts. I had to block so many people yesterday. And I was always the opposite of that. I would never block anybody. But now I just don't want the headache when I come into play. I just want to play the game, man. I don't want to hear somebody's political views or religious views or social views. I don't care about all that shit. I'm getting too old for all that, like that bickering shit. Excuse me. It's little clipping issues this game has bother me a little bit. This is pretty original. I mean, it's not really original, but somewhat original. Oh, it's 64 slot. It's the perk. It's just expanded storage, I believe it's called expanded storage. So, if you can get it in your expertise, because it comes from your expertise, if you can get it in your expertise, then you're set. Right. 64 slot storage really does help out though a lot. They're not getting it. You got to pick your play style in here. You cannot build your build around doing the content within game if you're not going to have any fun. There's a lot of people who will pick Unstable Bomber. Unstable Bomber gets boring. It does. It gets boring. When you can just steamroll any content, it gets boring. There's no variety in Unstable Bomber too. So you see the explosion, but it's all single target damage too. Can we get through this place? Come on. You guys are locking me in this stupid friggin'... I don't care if you need help. I just want you to die now, buddy. You're locking me in this. Anyway. You get all these people on... You get all these people on who keep talking and telling people, oh, you should have this build and you should have that build. Your build's got to match your play style. If you're running gun, you got to make a build for running gun, right? If you want to play stealthy, you got to make a sniper build or a stealth build. You don't cater your play style to a certain build. You cater it you cater it to your build, but you cater to a build that you enjoy and that you're going to have fun with. I don't know why people keep telling people that. Let them decide how they want to play. If they want to play, you know what I mean? then that's fine. I honestly don't get sometimes why people force play styles on people in this game. Oh, you gotta do this. It's the best play style out there. Like, you'll have people scream about how shrapnel is the best to use, and it's not. It's actually not the best to use. If you're worried about end game content, then you need to build for end game, right? If that's all you're concerned about. But this is a questing system, right? So end game content, yeah, okay, you're going to be there eventually, but you're not going to be there for a while. So at least play a build that you enjoy playing. At end game, just team up with people, and that solves the problem of you having struggles with the giant per se. You know what I mean? Because the giant doesn't like. I got to do this one too. See, I do have some more quests that I did not even focus on. Let me go down here. The giant has some issues with elemental damage, and I don't know if that was an oversight on the developers' part, like they thought that would be a good idea, or somebody just didn't realize that the elemental damage was doing damage. But they should fix that, because elemental damage should hurt him too. He should not be resistant to it. But even still, Fast Gunner and hold on, Fast Gunner and I gotta look at it again. I always forget the name of this shit. Bullseye, Fast Gunner and Bullseye. They are perfect for the giant. The two best builds that you can use against a giant, because you get those damage boosts of 30%, a raw 30% to your damage, as opposed to using like a fire or frost build, or even unstable bomber or shrapnel. Their boosts are given through elemental damage, and since the giant's resistant to elemental damage, you don't gain those boosts. You just gain raw damage. So I mean, I find it. I don't find it a problem as far as like taking a frost build to the giant. I beat the giant solo with a frost build, so I know it can be done with not much of a difficulty. Once you're, calibrated and everything else, you could beat the giant fairly simple. But just ask for help. Any damage is good damage, right? So if you can get a fast gunner on your team, or somebody who's doing bullseye on your team, I mean, bullseye actually gives a buff to other players too, and I think fast gunner does too. So they actually buff other players' damages also, so you gain damage from that too. So, again, there's viable builds for everything. You don't have to focus on any one single build in order to excel in this game at all. And I think that's where people lose sight of the game. They focus on a build they see, and they're like, oh, and then they play the build. So it gets boring. I mean, I've tried Unstable Bomber. I think Unstable Bomber is a good build to kill stuff, but I think it's a boring build, so I don't want to play with it. I like seeing the spike damage, right? I like seeing my effects and shit. I'm going to be streaming for a while, brother, and I appreciate you coming over and watching the stream. So, but again, like if you want to beat the giant at the end, get some guy who is running bullseye, who is running fast gunner on your team, and you're gonna. I mean, they smoked the giant. Both of those builds just destroy the giant, right? And they provide buffs for other people too. So it's just, why wouldn't you want them in your party to begin with, right? If you can get them in your party, of course. I'm always... Wait. Okay. I'm always looking for like bullseye, especially bullseye builds. You know, they mark a target and then you get a 30%. But again, it's play style. That's why I don't like recommending builds in chat. I really don't. Like, I don't mind trying to tell somebody the build I run, but I don't want to recommend it to them because they might not like it. They might not like the build. See, I like this stuff, the effects. So that build, fire, I used to love fire too, a fire build, but they nerfed the shit out of fire and I just don't like it anymore. I can't believe how bad they nerf fire. It's just, I think they were trying to bring builds in line with like because Fast Gunner and Bullseye initially wasn't being used by the community a lot. Some people were experimenting. I mean, there are some people who were running Fast Gunner. Not a lot of Bullseye builds, though. There wasn't a lot of people were using Bullseye weapons just to mark a target, but there wasn't a lot of Bullseye builds. You know, and then when people realized you get a buff from those Bullseye builds, and you get buffs from Fast Gunner, sometimes, you know, yeah, you get buffs from Fast Gunner too. People wanted those people in their party. I mean, anytime you can get an increase in damage, it's a good thing. Especially when you're fighting like bosses and things like that. You want that damage to begin with. Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing about frost builds, and a lot of people don't. I always tell the truth about a frost build. Okay, so if we go into a silo, I'm going to out damage you every single time in the silo. If we're the same level and we're all like geared up and everything else, I will out damage anybody in the silo every single time because the majority of my damage comes from AoE. That's what a frost build is good for. AoE damage, right? So, and if you have a bunch of ads, of course you're going to hit more of the ads than other people do. So your damage numbers go up because the stats against the boss aren't just stats against the boss. It's stats against everything you did damage to while you were in the silo. So I will always do better. Always. On my last server, I did 1 million more than everybody else on my team. And we were all level 50, all fully calibrated. And I'm always doing 1 million more damage than they are. Only because I do AoE damage. So I have more opportunity to increase my damage output, right? But on single targets, Frost sucks. It's not good. Right? Frost sucks. Well, you can't hit as many enemies as I can. See, that's the thing. When I go into a silo, I play knowing that I'm an AoE. I know that I'm an AoE damager, right? So that's my job, to do AoE damage and to kill the ads. So I focus on that kind of stuff in dungeons, right? Plus, with this build, I have unlimited health, and as long as I have the ammunition, I have unlimited ammo. So all I got to do is point and shoot, right, at the boss, and just continually point and shoot and not stop. Right now I'm having trouble because I don't have my heavy calibration on with my crit bonuses. But once I get that on, you'll never see me reload in a fight on a boss. I'll like never have to reload. I'll always have max ammo. The problem is that power surge, bullseye, fast gunner, shrapnel, unstable bomber, all the builds. Actually, even fire will out damage frost anytime in single target damage. Anytime in single target damage. Right? If you go back through my past streams, you can see the damage that I do and what the other guys do. I'm always 50% of the damage in silos for the most part, or more. Sometimes I'm 76% of the damage. But again, I'm honest with the people. When they go, "Oh my God, your build's so strong," I go, "It's not. It's not. It's strong in the sense that I can survive, and it's strong in the sense that I don't run out of ammo. but it sucks on single target damage. So if you're looking for me to beat the boss, to be the boss killer, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be that guy. I mean, I will beat the boss. I solo all content in this game with this build already many times. So I know how to play the build. But I'm never going to out damage any other build on single target damage. Never. The AoE damage from Frost is so much greater than any other build out there. Any build. There's no other build that can do the AoE damage like Frost can, because its area of effect is a lot larger than the area of effects of, say, Unstable Bomber, where you can hit other mobs and stuff like that, and that's a problem. And it's also, the thing with Frost is there's the Frost Vortex, so that lingers the whole entire time. So any mob that walks through that starts taking damage immediately. There's no other build that has that lingering damage like Frost does. Fire does, but Fire was nerfed, so it's not as effective as it was before. See, that's where the issue is right here. That Frost Vortex is a large area of effect. It's larger than what even the visual effect shows you. So you get more damage output on group of mobs than you will on anything else. Again, it can roll through all content up to the Giant. Like the Giant, you're going to have a little issue with. In LEA, this thing excels. This build is easy. This is a cakewalk in LEA. As long as you're maxed out, right? I mean, the first 3 dungeons in LEA, not a problem. The last one where you're fighting a jelly, it's on the second invulnerability that she does, that this build has a little bit of trouble because of the mob density. Because then you're concentrating on the mobs a lot more, and you might not get good drops to be able to hit the power node that you need to come out. Yeah. Well, it's full damage. It's full damage on range when they're within range, right? Because there is a drop-off in the game for all weapons at distance, except for maybe some sniper rifles. But even sniper rifles can do... Because the entire build is built off a crit. So we're critting like every other shot. No shit, we're critting every other shot when we're fully built. When we're fully built out. Right now I only have 43 rounds in my mag. That's a problem. I have to get that up, so that's why I need my heavy calibration in order to get that up. If you find mods that have increased magazine size on them, I would pull those. Like on my other build, on my other character, I have an 80 round mag. That's insane. I never run out of ammo. There's never a time where I even get close to running out of ammo.
Did you hear that?
Because with every crit, it will fill my... It will fill my magazine. So I don't have to worry about that. That's how this build works. So getting magazine size mods are important for the build if you can get that as one of the perks on the mod. But if you don't, the build's still viable. I mean, even now with 46 shots, that's all I got right now. I can still, if I'm single target damaging, I won't run out of ammo for the most part. Like bossing, I won't run out of ammo. But there are other mods you can use for bossing too that I should be using. So mod wise, let's see. So for bossing, Cryo Blast, of course. This is what you want to use when you're bossing mobs. Shattering Ice is the original build. This is what it recommends in the build. But I changed the build up. So I use Frosty Blessing so I can get the heal on every Frost Vortex when it disappears. And I proc Vortex consistently. So you get that, what is it, 10% HP? The Frost AK, it's you can make a really good build out of it. It's not necessary, right? Like I think you're wasting Starcrom when you go that route because you have to have 4 pieces of Wolf for that to be effective. And then most people will run 1 piece of Bastille, usually the boots, for the extra elemental damage. And then the build becomes a little bit more viable, right? But you don't have to do that with this. This costs you 9,000, only 9,000 Starcrom to get your entire build done. And you don't have to worry about anything. Because everything else is... I gotta pay attention sometimes. Everything else is purple, right? So if you look at my gear, 3 pieces of Wolf, right? 1 Frost Tactical Vest, and 2 pieces of Heavy, which gives you your elemental damage, right? The reason why people run Bastille is because you get, yes, crit for Frost, absolutely, 100%, all crit. It's all crit. That's why the AK isn't a good weapon, because AK does weak spot, has weak spot on it, and it's not good for the Frost build. For the Frost build that the AK builds for, it's good. But it's still crit. So, you get your crit off of your Lone Wolf gear, right? You can go 4 and get the 10 stacks, blah, 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 but it doesn't matter with this build. It really doesn't. That doesn't add anything else extra. Plus, since all elemental damage is based off of psi damage also, or psi intensity also, you want the highest pieces for psi, and that's why technically I don't have all the highest pieces for psi. I should have went Heavy Shoes and did a Wolf mask, and I would get a little bit more psi out of it, probably about 20 more psi maybe. Not too much of a difference. But you see where my psi intensity is right now, right? It's only 330. Once you get into tier 5 gear and you max all this up, your psi intensity goes up to over 900, right? So now you're 900 psi intensity, and that adds so much extra damage to this build. And then all the crit rates proc and everything calibrated to 10. Of course, your side damage builds with every time you calibrate. It's literally a build that excels. Right. So there are options, right, within the blueprints that you can do, but the highest damage that we've been able to get off of this build through testing is the way it's built right now. And it's because of the mods that you're running and how it synergizes with the build and things like that. So again, crit damage. It used to be trigger chance. In closed beta 3, it was trigger chance. Trigger chance meant you could proc more Frost Vortexes, right? But no longer is that the issue. You're procking off of you're just procking all the time off of the weapon alone. And crit is the big part of that. But anyway, let me get into the armor here real quick. So people will run Bastille for weapon damage. I'm sorry, to get the 10% weapon damage, right? Because again, the standard Frost Vortex damage isn't really high on single targets. So the more weapon damage you can sneak in there, the better it is. We don't care about reload because we don't reload. So we don't have to worry about reload speed, things like that. I've seen some people run the Shelterer set. That's another thing. You can. Matter of fact, I believe it's a Shelterer set for the AK, not Wolf. I'm mistaken. It's the Shelterer set that you run for the AK. Yeah, I'm going to. The only reason why I opened this up is because you had mentioned Saber, so I'm looking at it now. Yeah, now here's the thing with Savior. You see those 2 pieces right there? That's great, right? You get a standard 10% boost, right? But you definitely have to be above 70%. So the problem with the original build is that you could drop below that and then lose that extra damage, right? But when you put Frosty Blessing on as opposed to Shattering Ice, the chances of you dropping below 7 or 90% in a fight, when you have, full gear and everything else, is almost zero. Your health basically stays at 100% because with every frost vortex that you proc, as soon as it finishes, you get a 10% boost to your health. And again, this is an AoE build. So just imagine how many frost vortexes are proccing as I'm AoEing. They're proccing all over. 10% each. So they're proccing everywhere, right? And you're destroying everything. So your health is never dropping. So this could be a viable set then at that point, right? But you don't. I get a straight with the heavy. Where's it at? Where's my heavy? Oh, I don't have it in the boots. Sorry. Did I have it in gloves? So see here, I get a straight 8%. And I get a 10% boost to my HP also. So that's a bonus too. Because the Frost Vortex build, you can take some damage. But then I get that 8% element damage, which is specific to that. Now, would the 10% weapon damage be better if I was fighting the giant? Yeah. I'm going to say maybe, because there's still adds in the giant. And when I'm in a team, I'm focusing more on the adds first to keep them off the guys, and then switching my attention to the giant when I have time to, like in between. So that's why I love having a Frost Vortex or a Bullseye build around when I'm fighting the giant, because those two builds themselves will destroy the giant. I mean, they'll just annihilate the giant. They're such good builds for that type of single target, like single target bossing. I would never even try to outdamage any build, any other build. But the Frost Vortex is the only build that I see that will consistently rank number 1 in silos. At least, and I've tried Unstable Bomber, I've tried Fast Gunner, I've tried Bullseye, I've tried Power Surge. I mean, I literally have 12 characters, and I can show you. I have 12 characters. So I've tried all these builds. And I just prefer Frost Vortex because up until endgame, you're fighting a lot of mobs. You're fighting a lot of ancillary mobs. So it just makes more sense to me. Could you kill a mob faster than me? Like a single mob faster than me? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, a single mob, like a normal mob. I don't know, because if I proc Frost Vortex, I would say no because of the ice spikes, because of the damage I get off the ice spikes. Right, that's what I'm saying. Again, if you're up above 90%, the extra damage, right? But that only really applies to single target damage. Right? When I'm spreading my damage around, and really the only boss that you fight single target is the giant. So, and not even that, you still do get like ancillaries. You still get the adds. So somebody's got to focus those adds while you're fighting a boss, or they're going to be irritating the guys who actually can do damage. Like, if I took you into the giant with your Bullseye build, I would want to keep the mobs off of you, because you're going to hit that and you're going to proc that extra 30% damage, right? But I don't want you to stop firing. I want you to keep that constant pressure on that boss. If you got adds chasing you down all the time and you can't focus because you're getting hit every second and interrupted, that's shit for your, that's shit for you, because you're not putting out the damage. Then you now got to turn your attention to the adds to fight the adds. I need, on my teams, I need Power Surge, and I need, not Power Surge, I'm sorry, Bullseye, and I need Fast Gunner to focus damage. I just want them hitting the boss. I'll take care of the other shit. I don't care what I place when I fight the giant either. I don't need to be number 1. I don't need to be in the, I could be all the way in the back. The least amount of damage, or the person who killed the most adds, or whatever the hell that is. I want the people who are doing the damage, and your guys' numbers are just far better when you're talking straight DPS. Your damage numbers are just better if you're hitting single targets. But if we're talking DPS in a group, if I set up a bunch of dummies to hit, I'm going to out damage you on DPS, because again, I do AoE damage, and I'm going to out damage you. because you're not going to be able to hit all those mobs. Now you might be able to spread, right? So that's what I have on my pistol. I run bullseye and I run spreading marks. Right? So I get my 30% damage increase from the bullseye. Well, whatever it is. I don't know. Is it whatever the damage is from the bullseye? I don't know. Anyway, I get that and then I spread the marks and it's just then my DPS picks up. But if I threw a jelly out, my DPS would pick up, right? So fire builds can do massive amounts of DPS, right? But they need the pyro dino to do it. And a pyro dino has to be hitting the target with their flame breath for them to get the extra bonus damage that they need for the fire. And sometimes with a giant, your pyro might not hit the giant at all, because there's a fall off to its damage after a certain point. So you're kind of like in a bad situation when you're trying to min-max your DPS. For your build, it's so much easier. It is. It really is, because of the amount of damage that you get automatically from your build. It's just a massive amount of extra damage. But that's why it's always good to have somebody who runs bullseye or who runs fast gunner in your party. I mean, if you're in a hive and you guys are going to do content together, you definitely want somebody running bullseye or fast gunner. It's an absolute. You have to have somebody running those. If you just want to steamroll content, definitely. I will take 30% damage over anything else any day as a teammate. I don't care. I don't want another frost build. I don't need another fire build. I don't want another this build or that build. I want fast gunner or bullseye on my team if I can get it, right? And again, finding somebody running fast gunner and finding somebody running bullseye sometimes is very difficult, because people get wrapped up into these metas, right? And they get stuck on shrapnel or unstable bomber or even ice. On my last server, everyone runs Frost Vortex. And I mean, you could definitely, if you got 4 people running Frost Vortex in like LEA labs, it's so easy to run through content. It's not even enjoyable then. It's just, you guys are doing so much damage, nothing can get near you. You just destroy everything, and then you're over with. But when you're running a good person who has a good bullseye build or a good fast gunner build, oh my God, it's so much more enjoyable, because you notice your damage picking up. I mean, you can just see it. And I like anything that boosts my damage. Now, mind you, that's counterintuitive to not running Shattering Ice again, because Shattering Ice ultimately will do more damage in an ice build than Frosty Blessing will. It's just, you get way more damage from Shattering Ice than you do running Frosty Blessing. But I run Frosty Blessing because I am solo, right? So when I run solo, I have to soak up all the damage, and I need something that can build my damage where I don't have to worry about stimming up real quick, or I don't have to worry about anything. And with this build, I don't have to. I can just stand there and face tank everything. Do I got to repair a little bit more? Yeah, I do. But it's not significant enough to bother me. And I have the, where are they at? They're here somewhere. Where are you guys at? There they are. So I run the all-purpose hand. And the main thing for us to repair as a frost build, more than any other build in the game, is our weapon. Our SMG burns through durability so fast. It's a shame. Who was that? Why was he immune? So see, I gained all my health back already, except for what is sanity. Exactly. That's the thing. You stun mobs, right? So there's a stun in Power Surge that a lot of people don't realize. You also provide vulnerability with that build, so the build's defense is lower, and then you're providing a 30% damage bonus to your team. On top of that, because you're a bullseye, and who wouldn't want you around? Like, everybody would want you around in a team. If you're going to min-max a team, right? Definitely. And then if you run a fast gunner on top of that, and the bonuses you get from fast gunner, it's crazy. Yeah, if you can work out a frost gunner bullseye build, I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it's possible. Try to compare like what people are running with the frost gunner to the bullseye build and see if the pieces are interchangeable. But if they are, I mean, I would say that build would be fucking awesome, right? Like that build would just be insanely incredible. Just to be around, just to have somebody, running that build for any other build. So, again, my gear is only tier 3, so it's not at the final build version of this. So, I won't proc as many crits as I want to because, like I showed you, my psi will be up over 900, but right now my psi is only, where am I at? Yeah, my psi is only 330, right? But once I get tier 5, this will be over 900, and then that's when the build, you really see the frost build start to shine. But it's an easy leveling build too, because you do get those procs every now and then, so you can heal, and you get that AoE damage. So if you're mobbed up, you can just, you can work your way out of it. It's not as easy to level. It's not as easy as a leveling build as, say, Unstable Bomber is. Like, Unstable Bomber is W key all the way through the fucking game to end game, right? Once you get to end game, then you got to actually work on it. But until end game, and if you're a sniper Unstable Bomber build, you're really at a disadvantage when you're fighting bosses, because even though you can do a massive amount of damage, you can't fire fast enough to do that damage like I could. Like, I can out damage an Unstable Bomber build. Sniper build in single target damage because I'm rapid fire and they're single fire. And even though they can do 20k hits, I can do 2 to 5k crits every other shot. So I wind up out damaging them. Frost build's a good leveling build. It is. It's a good mobbing build. Absolutely. And one, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you played the betas before, but I've been playing since the first beta, literally the first beta, and that beta sucked, by the way. Don't ever compare anything to that first beta in this game, because that beta was atrocious. But anyway, in beta 2, in the second beta, we had no way to make acid. There was no way to make acid. There was no other alternative ways to make acid. So the only way to get acid was to kill deviants, and that's the only way you can get acid, was killing deviants. So there was something called the, I forget what it is. There's an event where you go into the cave and you can kill mobs in the cave. That was one way to get acid. I forget what the event's called. I'm sorry. The second way to get acid was doing what I called the Hearst acid run, which is going over to Hearst. Since it has a high density of mobs and very quick respawns, you can make 600 acid in an hour over there, just killing mobs. So we used to do that run. And then if you have the food to boost your acid by another 50%, you can even get more. So we used to do that acid run. The fire build was the build to use in that type of run, because it did massive amounts of AoE damage. What happens in these games, even right now, what happened to this game and why certain builds seem to be better than other builds, is because Shrapnel was the dominant build in CBD 2, closed beta testing 2. Everyone was running Shrapnel. A couple people were running Fire, and they changed the meta. When they changed the meta, people started to switch to the Fire build in the closed beta 2 testing. People started to complain that damage numbers were people were being out damaged by these other builds. So the devs came in, heard the complaints. The devs are very susceptible to the player base. They will listen to us. They have listened to us, and they continue to listen. I don't know about this shit that they just instituted now. The increased deviant drops and all of this stuff. I think that's foolish. I think it's become too easy now. People are getting shinies left and right. I think that should be really hard to get. Very rare in the game. And you have to work towards it. So it keeps people playing the game. Right now, people are just farming shinies and they're getting them and they're actually giving shinies away. That is so stupid. Take it back down in rarity, make it a 0.02% drop, right? So it's very rare, and that people actually have to really work to get the shiny then. I think we're getting away from the survival aspect of the game now. It's becoming like a Rust. Rust started out really good as a survival game, and now it's just a casual gamer's game. There's nothing hard about Rust at all anymore. There's a pattern to follow, and I played Rust for like fucking 8 years, and I ran 3 servers. I literally owned 3 servers that I ran for like 6 years. But this game is starting to listen to the player base too much. Anyway, so what they did is I got off track and I apologize. It was a point I was trying to prove about how the game is progressing. Anyway, the devs listened to people in closed beta 2 and then they nerfed the fire build. So in CBT 3, the fire build got nerfed and it was a really bad nerf. The actual build was shit then and nobody wanted to run it. And then Shrapnel was still nerfed in closed beta 3. It had a little bit, but everybody was running Frost Vortex for the most part in closed beta 3. Almost everybody was. I shouldn't even say that. Not almost everybody, but people who knew what builds did better were running Frost Vortex. Thank God they didn't nerf it. No one complained, right? Because it wasn't like you couldn't run other builds. Unstable Bomber, again, was a dominant force in closed beta 3. I shouldn't say it wasn't because everybody wanted Jaws too. So the Frost build was underrated. But those of us who knew about the Frost build knew how much damage it provided and how much DPS you could pull out of it. Okay, now we jump into the release. The devs have already admitted that they made it easier, the release easier than it even was in the closed beta 3. So they increased damage numbers for all the builds, which made Shrapnel a viable build again after it took a bad nerf in closed beta 3. It made Shrapnel. Then everybody started running Shrapnel. If you look at the first few servers that popped up, and I literally was on one of them. I was probably on the second server that came online. I was in 36, right? So, or 19. I'm sorry, I was in 19. So it was like the second server that came online. I'm in 36 now. That's why I said 36, because that's what this is. Anyway, I was in 19. That was the second server online. Everybody was running Shrapnel. As soon as people started running the Shrapnel build, it became the meta. Everybody started running Shrapnel. I refused to run Shrapnel. I ran my ice build, and I was fine with it. I didn't have an issue with it. Then the next character I created, it was an Unstable Bomber Sniper build, and I steamrolled through PvE content. It was easy. Yeah, you get a 5-3, right? Growing Pains, right? Exactly. Everybody's trying for that too with the Growing Pains. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not a deviant. I know a lot about the game. I could tell you where every box is in the game. Like, I know where to run. I know I've done this so many times through the beta and everything else. I know where everything is. But I can't tell you shit about the deviants except for the Hound and the Jelly. And the Butterfly. Okay? Other than that, I can't tell you shit about the deviants. What deviant I only run the Jelly, the Hound, or the Butterfly. I don't run the Gel ever. Never ran a Gel. Didn't care about it because my build doesn't need healing. So I didn't run it. I didn't run the other ones because they just seemed stupid. The Samurai was single target damage again. It's not AoE damage. It's not, I don't like the AoE damage. I don't care for any of that stuff. Oh, by the way, the Unstable Bomber build is stupid. The amount of stuff that you need to run that for the Unstable Bomber build. I don't like it, so I don't mind Unstable Bomber. They closed Butterfly Spawn for Alpha? No, I didn't know that. Why? Although the Butterfly, without a doubt, the highest, and I've tested this, the highest single target damage you can get for a deviant if you have a 5/5 or something like that. Like, it will outperform every other deviant for single targets, and it marks weak spots. So I think the reason why you get so much damage off of that is because it's marking weak spots, and you get weak spot damage from it. I don't know. I didn't test it, but I think that's what's happening with the butterfly. No, I don't. I don't know the spawns for any. I don't really know the spawns for any of the deviants except for the Shephosaurus and what used to be Mr. Wish and the teddy bear, Dr. Teddy and all that other stuff. Other than that, I don't know the spawns for anything else because I don't farm deviants. I don't do that. You won't catch me farming deviants, but occasionally I may try, and then I get bored with it and I go and do other stuff. I run my deviant, but I don't run my deviant like crazy. Like, Jelly was probably my last character was probably the one where I ran my deviant the most, and it was a butterfly. And I ran it all the time. I try to because I forget to run my deviant sometimes and don't run it. So I don't really care about the deviants. I don't give a shit. Even the ones for the grow shroom and all that stuff. I don't care what level they are. They're just picking my crops. I don't care what they do. I just let them do their thing. I'm more interested in the gameplay and like going around and getting to core, doing all the objectives, things like that. Like, the deviants don't really. If you play Pow World, you love the deviants, right? If you play Pokemon, you like the big cuddly deviants. I like how they look. I like having them, but I don't care what level they are. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. I've gotten one level 5 deviant in my life. It was a butterfly, and I saw the damage that it does, and I know that it can outperform in single target damage. Even now, if I run a 3/2 butterfly, I can out damage a 5/1 anything, basically. It still out damages it. I don't know why, but that's why they give you the butterfly in the beginning, and everyone overlooks the butterfly and how strong it is. It is extremely strong and marks all your weak spots for you. So come on. I mean, that bonus right there alone. Doesn't work for the Frost build because the Frost build doesn't do weak spot damage. We don't do weak spot damage. We literally forego weak spot damage for regular hits with our mods. We cut weak spot damage out for crits, I think it is. Yeah, I don't really know the butterfly's weak spot damage, what it actually does. I don't even know if it does provide weak spot damage. I'm not even 100% sure about that. It's a guess of mine and an educated guess because it marks weak spots. And I can't see it not providing a damage boost if it's marking the weak spots. Like, of course, you're going to hit the weak spots, so you're going to do more damage. So I would assume that it increases weak spot damage, but I'm not sure about that. Again, I mainly stick to the Jelly and the Hound, and I do the Hound for AoE mobbing, right? The Hound pairs very well with the Frost build because you send the Hound out, it multiplies, and it kills all the AoEs while you're killing AoEs. Gives you a little bit. I like using it when I want to focus a little bit more on single target damage. So, like if I'm running the X1 silo, I like running the Hound. I don't like running the Jelly. I'll run the Hound because the Hound will kill all the extra mobs that are trying to hit me while I'm trying to shoot, the big friggin' tower with the lights on it. No, nobody's getting tired of living. I stood here long enough talking that I completely almost got everything spawning back. Anyway. Also, I'm having trouble. I'm auto-jumping on my character for some reason. I got to find a config file and see if I can change it manually. Because it won't change any other way. Okay. Well, yeah. Base damage overall would be great anyway, right? But if you're in a team, now mind you, marking weak spots for players to shoot at, that's pretty good because then players will focus those areas and you'll actually ultimately wind up doing more damage in a team. If you're playing single player, single player damage from the butterfly, its normal hit is what I'm talking about. Like, it's just base stat hit is insane. Like, it does large chunks of damage every time it hits. I think regular damage would be better in that case, of course. But if you're in a team, marking the weak spots so people can focus weak spots, that's not an issue. Like that would be good. But yeah, you're right. I would prefer regular base damage over any of the other stuff. Base damage is always my go-to thing, especially when I'm fighting single targets. When I'm fighting in a team, I want more of an AoE spread. It's just better for my build. It's a personal preference. Look, see how I jumped off there and broke my legs? I don't like how that's doing that. It's like auto jumping. I go to my settings to change my auto settings, and it does absolutely nothing. And all my I gotta eat and drink because all my stuff went bad. I don't know why I just ate that. I don't even need to eat that, but okay. That was a mistake. Anyway. That was stupid. So I'm having a problem with my game anyway. Now I broke my legs and it has nothing to do with me. It has zero to do with me. Like, for some reason, every time I go off an edge now, look, see how that made me move? Look how far I went. When you jump off of something, you don't go that far. That's the line right there, right? So let me go off. Look at that. It pulls me right to it. When you jump off, I should land about here, maybe. But I'll show you on this. It does this weird jump. Look. See that? It's pulling me forward. I can't change it. I go to my settings. Go all the way down. There's an auto jump feature in this game. Where's it at? Auto vault right here, right? It's off. Yet I'm still jumping. Now, in the patch notes, it said it added this. When I'm talking to other people, they're saying they don't notice this.
Get ready to eat.
He's a regen, so. Ooh, let's take a damage from him. Let's see my health as it's going up, as I'm procking. Now, there it goes. See, go up. He's just a weird regen mob. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I gotta heal. At max, my health wouldn't even move. I'm too close for his flame. I gotta back up a little bit. Get a better angle. But if I was maxed out, that I could just sit in front of him the whole time and take all his damage. And since my crit rate's not high enough yet, I'm not critting as much as I usually do. But again, you'll see if you're watching my streams when I hit level 50 and I'm max, I got all my level 5 gear on with everything, my health won't drop. My crits will be almost instantaneous, like every other shot. This is part of the problem with this build as you're leveling it. You have to deal with the reload every now and then, and it's just a part of the build. You gotta contend with it. Eventually you get to the point where you don't reload ever. So it may not be the best leveling build, like the easiest leveling build, but for me it's the most fun leveling build. What do you mean? Oh, no. Look, even if I fly, watch, and I stop flying, look what happens. See how it pushes me forward? It makes me go forward. It's not lag. Yeah, well, I appreciate you stopping by, brother. Seriously. Anybody watching my streams, I appreciate it. But I stream more for like family back home. So like I appreciate anyone who follows me or watches my stream, but I'm not chasing the views. I don't do that. I don't even promote my stream at all. But I appreciate anybody who does watch me, anybody who comments, anybody who goes to see my build video, right? I get a lot of people because of my build video. Yeah, okay. So it's happening to you too. All right. I knew I wasn't going crazy. When I asked in chat, everyone kept saying, nah. I didn't notice that. I'm like, how do you not notice that? If I go up on my roof to check my power requirements, right, for my solar, I used to be able to just go out my window and then walk up to the roof. Now, if I go out my window, if I get even anywhere close to the edge, it pulls me off my roof immediately. I don't jump. It just automatically does it. So I know it's a feature they added in the game. They even said it in the patch notes. It's in there. But other people aren't I don't know how other people aren't seeing it. I mean, I noticed a major difference. Like, it does definitely break my friggin' legs, and I don't like it. Ooh, did I get his memory from here yet? Oh, no, I think I'm doing that now, right? And if you ever want to laugh, this is another if this is ever in buildings, or for the most part, I'll hit every single trap that is around. I have situational awareness when it comes to like mobs and shit, but zero when it comes to the ground. To be honest with you, that's what I'm thinking. I literally have an i9 13900K or whatever it is. It's like the top Intel processor. I have 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM in my system. I have a RTX 4090 in here. I have 12 terabytes of space in my computer. I have 2 NVMe drives, and then I have my SSD drives that I already had that I put in here. I mean, I literally got a lot of upgraded stuff in my system. And my system just, I don't catch lag as much as other people do, but I do catch it occasionally. So what I was just giving an example of is my PC's good, so I agree with you. I think it's a PC issue and not anything else. I think because they put it in the code. It's there. It's automatic. I don't do anything. I just walk and it does it. Well, if I jump, it does it. So anytime I jump off something and then it just slings me forward. If I'm in the air, you notice it even more because it slings me forward so far. Like if I jump off a mountain to go somewhere, if I like stop flying for a split second and let it drag me forward, I can get to where I'm going fast as shit. And I don't even have, let me see. Let me grab my rewards real quick. Cradle. So I don't even pay attention to my cradle while I'm leveling. But this is something, where's it at? You can get something here that makes you fly faster or some shit like that. I forget. Oh, right here. This. Like these are added on this server for some reason. I don't know why. I'm never going to choose these as an option. And it seems like Frost isn't getting the love it needs. It must be down here. When I hit level 50 or 40, Frost will probably open up. But I don't see a lot of anything for Frost damage in any of this. I mean, there's status damage if I hit a weak spot. Right now I'm hitting weak spots, so it's okay. But at some point, this will go off because I won't be really hitting weak spots. Or it won't count as weak spot damage. It's part of the build. I don't know why it does that, but... So shrapnel and bounce, unstable bomber gets some love, you know. Power surge, of course, right there. And then you guys will have more that, well, fire. Fire is the only one that I've seen that has like fire and unstable bomber and bounce has 2 actual buffs to it. While ice only has 1, I believe. Like 1 main one. 4070 Ti Super, right? It's a Ti. I mean, shit. I do get micro stutters sometimes. I run on limited frame rates only because the 4090 can handle it. I mean, I don't need it, but I run it anyway just to give it a little bit extra. And I run the NVIDIA DLSS and all that other bullshit. I don't run the frame rate generation for the AI. So I don't think that's necessary, especially in this game just now. But that might smooth out those micro stutters that I get every now and then. But someone tried to tell me the other day that RAM's not important for a computer, and I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, you're okay with 32 gigabytes of RAM? And I'm like, yeah, you are, but I mean, 64 is just better. I was like, if 32 was the end-all, be-all of computers, they wouldn't allow you to put in... I mean, this system can hold 128. They wouldn't allow you to put in anything more than 32. So what are you talking about? Like, just the way they build systems tells you that 32 is okay, but it's not the best that you can do with your system. And I was like, when you run 64 gigs as opposed to 32... You can handle more processes at the same time. So you can be running your stream, and you can be running your chat, and you can be running this, and another window open up. You can have an Explorer window open up, whatever you want on your system. And it's not going to hurt you as bad as if you only had 32 gigabytes, right? Your resources will start getting used. And I said, and on top of that, there's a guy who told me he had an RTX and an i5. I was like, what? Can you even put an RTX and an i5? No, you can't. I don't know anybody that can. I mean, at least not no RTX 4090. If you could put one in there, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think you could put a 49 in there. So when he said that, I knew he was just talking shit then at that point. I'm like, dude, you're talking out your ass because, one, the processor on the graphics will bottleneck the shit out of your CPU. It'll bottleneck your CPU. Yeah, I know. You lose speed. I do lose speed. I already lost speed putting 64 in here. My speed dropped down to 4,000. But that's fine. I'm okay with that. I could just do more process. And 4,000 is more than enough for this. So I know it was okay. Now, if it dropped down to like 2,000, I would have an issue with that. Unfortunately, most motherboards will try and bring you down to like 2,333 as a standard when you run more than 32 in your system. Right? If you try to run four memory sticks, or I'm sorry, when you try to run more than 4 memory sticks or 2 memory sticks, it'll bring you down. It just does it automatically. I don't know why. I'm not that much of I mean, I've built my own computer in the past, literally. Like, went to the computer show and bought all my shit. Came back, built my computer. It was an excellent computer. But I'm not into that part of it anymore. I'll buy pre-built computers and I'll add shit to it, right? So mine's a pre-built, but I added stuff to it. And mine's an HP Omen, and it consistently ranks in benchmarking as the top of the list. You know, or one of the top. So it depends on what you have in your system, whether or not it can outperform some. There's some AMD chipsets that can outperform the Intels in benchmarking, but it all depends on how your system is built. HP did a really good job with this Omen. If I show you my stats in it, I mean, I literally can screenshot it and show you, or fucking live stream it and you can see it. But I also have another system that has an i9 or excuse me, i7 processor with RTX 3060 and has 64 gigabytes of RAM. But of course, that's running the DDR4 because it's a lower chipset. But it has, I don't know, something like 8 terabytes of space on it, shit like that. And I was going to use that strictly for streaming. But I wasn't into streaming enough to like put the system together, like from one to the other using the Elgato video card or any of that stuff. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to waste more money. I mean, I spent $6,000 on my system. So that's enough, dude. And again, I'm not fucking rich. I'm okay, but I'm definitely not rich, and I'm not spending $6,000. I even thought it was way too much money to spend on the system, but I wanted all the the best shit in it, so that's what I did. No, nope. It's not that I don't have crashes. I've had one crash with this system, and it was playing this freaking game, right? This game. I don't know what I did. Well, all right. What I assume, and I always assume, because the only time I ever had problems with my systems now, even the other one, is when I'm streaming, playing the game, and I try to run Discord also. I do not run Discord while I'm playing. Discord does something in the background to my systems that causes nothing but issues. It's done it to both my systems. So I know it's Discord that's doing it. So I don't run Discord at all while I'm streaming. Now, I have done it. You'll see in my past streams I have done it. But I've paid very close attention to the quality of my streaming then at that point, and I noticed a drop with it. Discord, regardless of what you may think, it uses a ton of resources when it's doing what it's doing, and I think that was what the problem was. And even with 64 gigs of RAM, I was having issues. So I was like, nah. I mean, Streamlabs uses a lot of resources now too, and plus I multi-stream. I multi-stream with 4 platforms at the same time. So I'm using a lot of resources to begin with. But when you add Discord to the mix, whoo. So no, I'm not going to say it never crashed, bro. Because it has. But it only crashed once, and it only crashed while I was playing this game. It's never crashed any other time, no matter what I've been doing. I got 3 screens. I got one gaming screen that I use, my main gaming screen. And that's 165 hertz. I like it. I'm not worried about getting a 200 and 244 or whatever it is. I could care less about that. I'm not playing Call of Duty. If I was playing Call of Duty or something that required me to get those little bit of milliseconds that I need in order to get the advantage of somebody, I'd run a higher resolution screen. But I don't need to. I can run 165, and that's more than enough for anything that I do. I just don't play competition shooters anymore. I used to back in the day. I was actually in the OGL league for years, but yeah, I pulled away from that. So it's not. This guy trying to do a greenhouse like my greenhouse was. He added a building, but that looks pretty good. That's not bad. Thanks for the follow, brother, too. I really do appreciate it. I used to leave the thing up there that would tell you who the last person was that followed, but I want players to, when they're watching me play, not to be distracted by other things. I know I got the chat that pops up, but I think that's the only thing that pops up. Well, when you follow, too. Sometimes it doesn't do it for somebody, like... I didn't see the follow thing come up for the YouTube. It might have, but I wasn't paying attention to the screen at the time. I usually get a sound. I didn't get an alert either. Yeah, again, I told people, yes, somebody asked a question in chat yesterday, and they were like, damn, you know a lot. And I'm like, nah, I know enough, right? Like, Yeah, you could consider me a once human wiki on some things, but I am not the end all be all of answers for people. Like there's some things that I don't even know about this game still. But I do try to be as helpful as possible when somebody asks a question, if I can answer it. I mean, if you're asking me a question like, how do I put down my base? You follow the tutorial. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. I'll tell somebody B and Z just to be nice, but if it's a continual question in chat, I don't say nothing. I ignore those types of questions sometimes. Because I just don't feel like answering something you should know already. You should know that. It's in the tutorial. Like, why don't you know that? Ooh, oh, this is the Jelly Lady. I actually like this quest. The Jelly Lady. I think that's a good quest. That wasn't in the beta. And then, oh, here's another thing, too. Right here. Yeah, right here? Right here. Just maybe here or just a little bit up by this car. I saw an event pop up here one day. And I don't know if they meant for the event to pop up, but it was a taxi that was glowing. A taxi cab, like you see on the sides. And it was glowing. You can get in it, and it flies. Because the controls were up and down, and then left and right. So I think they're going to have an event in here where you can get into like a flying taxi, and it may be like a time trial going through hoops or something like that, maybe. You know, like flying through hoops or whatever to get a better time. But I've seen it pop up right here. This is where it goes. Or where they had it. Right here on this green patch, matter of fact. Or that green patch. New event. Never saw it before. It was so random. I just happened to be over here and I saw the event pop up. But you couldn't fly it. You can get in it, but you couldn't fly it. It was like not letting you fly. I hate when I forget these. It's out here anyway. I don't even need to go that way. Jelly event. I get conflicted in this because I don't really want to help the deviant that always tries to kill me and shit, but I feel sorry, so I help her, but I don't want to. No, that's good. The little bit of knowledge that I gained in the betas doesn't make me know the game any better than somebody who started when the game first started, because a lot of this shit is not the same as it was in the beta. So the knowledge that I gained in the beta isn't really useful. I mean, some of it is, but it's the same shit you'll learn on your own anyway. So like I said, I don't claim to know anything more than anybody else. I just happen to retain some useless information every now and then. It makes it seem like I know a little bit more, and I don't. But once you go into houses like this for the 18th time, because they've reused this asset over and over again, which I don't mind. Not complaining about the asset usage, but you tend to know. You start to learn where everything is then at that point. But yeah, I'm not any more knowledgeable. I mean, if you just started the game, of course, because I've been playing the game for so long. I know the basic mechanics of the game. But after like a couple weeks of somebody playing the game, they know just as much shit as I know. What I have already, they did it again. And that's because the game hasn't found its footing yet. Right? They're still experimenting with shit. And also, when the user base starts complaining about something, the devs actually look into it. If the user base puts in more requests for things to be easier, they're going to make it easier for us. But they made hard servers for those people. See, they listened because they made hard servers for people who want hard content, who want, to be able to engage more in the more of a survival kind of mechanic. And they did that. So they do listen. I just think for even the casual gamer, they're making it too easy. I would like to see things maybe stay the same. Don't with the deviants especially. I think the deviants are just, it's too easy now. I shouldn't even be using my pistol. I should be using my crossbow and stop wasting all my ammo on these lower level guys. Yeah, some people don't. You're right about that. Because some people just want to get through the game content. I see that. I'm a proponent for devs. I absolutely support developers in their games because I could see a lot of people don't like the time gating in this. A lot of people don't like some of the ways that you go about getting things in the game. They think it's unnecessary and they don't want to do it, so they run the quest line, and then when they get to the end of that phase, they're stuck there. And they don't want to go back to the lower level areas, so people stop. And I understand it because I've done it. There's only 2 characters that I decided to try and rush through the quest line, only because I was like a little bit behind in the phases. And when I got to a certain point, I had nothing else to do in the storyline, and I had all these ancillary quests, like all the low-level quests that I still had to do. I didn't want to go back and do them. I was like, ugh, I don't want to go. It's going to be boring now. It's fun when you're around that same level, killing lower or mobs your level, because there's some skill to it then. When you're higher level and you can just steamroll everything, it gets real boring real fast. Even though I like looking for decor, that's like my main thing. I like looking for shit from my building and all. It's just, it takes away the fun of the game when you can just roll through everything and it's too easy. So I get why they do it, but I also don't think they understand the reason why the devs time gated. The devs didn't time gate the servers because they wanted to stifle your growth. They time gated the servers because they developed an entire world for you to explore, and they actually want you to explore it. Developers don't want people speed running their games. Developers don't like speedrunners that find different ways to get through the game faster and all that. They can't stand that shit. The proof about that in this game is real simple, because you used to be able to produce acid really easy in this game. So what did the developers do between the beta 3 and the actual release of the launch release? Was they changed the power requirements for everything that can produce acid. It's all now 10 watts. It was never that. For your synthesis bench, if you went sulfur alchemist, you didn't have to have power for your synthesis benches. You could have 30 synthesis benches running, and it only took sulfur. So what did they do? They turned around and put 10 watts of power on each of the synthesis benches. Excuse me. If that sounds weird when I say it. It's a very tongue-ties the shit out of me every time. And they put, you now have to use your energy links to make it with the sulfur. You didn't have to before. It was just straight sulfur. I mean, in one game, I had 50,000 acid in one run through, on one character. So anyway, the developers wanted to slow down the pace. So they do certain things to try and slow down the pace, so you're not rushing through it. Because Why am I designing an entire world with all these bosses and all these different mechanics and all these different things that you can do and you're not doing them? As a developer, how would I feel if you just bypass everything I created for you? Right? Developers take pride in their work. They really do. They enjoy designing games. They do. Some people are in there for the money, but most of the time you get into game development because you love your work. You love making a game. And if we don't play and do everything that the game developers are providing for us, what does that say to the game developer? We don't really care about their work. We just care about our little adrenaline rush, and their work don't matter. We just want to get through it as fast as possible. Not only that, they're looking for longevity in their game also, right? They want this game to succeed and have longevity. If you're not playing their game and you're just running through content, and I've already sent this, I had a one-on-one after the second beta with the developers, right? Where I was able to ask them questions and talk to them. And it was in Discord. And it was great, right? There was a language barrier there. It was hard to understand some of the things. But I had told them, between the 4th and 6th weeks in this game, and it still happens to this day, you have a drop-off of people, right? People stop playing the game. They literally stop playing the game. Because they're already at that last end of the phase. And it's because the developers were time gating everything in the betas, right? They're not doing that now. Like, the whole entire environment was not open in phase 2. When phase 2 hits, everything opens. That's not how the game worked before. And now it's working that way. So that's different from even the betas. Yeah, but you can just use the map. Just use the map. The Once Human map. Not the one in-game, like the Once Human map from maps.io. You can Google search it. That shows you exactly where those quests are. You just search up the quests, and it'll tell you everything. You just click on it. Shows you exactly where all that shit is, and you don't have a headache. I do that now because I don't want the headache. In the betas, the Once Human map didn't show those things properly, so I always had to look at it and figure out where I needed to go. But now you can just use the map and avoid those quests. And get them completed really fast without having to worry about anything. Anyway, get back to the other thing is, my buddy, who I've known since he was 17, right, became a game developer. He started out in the small. He was doing like back work, or he was doing like networking stuff, and the back end shit on the network, because they're a company that helps develop the game in multiplayer. So they'll take a single player game and turn it into a multiplayer game for the game developers who design the game. They'll make the multiplayer aspect of the game. So he got into that. But now he's in actual game development where they're actually making games and doing stuff for games. And he loves it. And the biggest complaint that I've ever heard is the fact that when he does something, and people don't utilize, like the best game developers, you'll do stuff in the game and you won't even notice it, right? Like you won't even, like the mechanics that they develop for the game. But the environments, if he makes an environment for a game and he thinks it's incredible and there's no acknowledgement of that from the player base, like the player base just blows through it, it bothers developers. It does. Because again, they have a love of their craft. And rightfully so. So why are we not? But that's why the game developers here have done these time gating things. One is longevity. Two is the fact that they want people to explore their game world. They want people to do things in their game world. And if people aren't doing it, it does a disservice to us. And it's like a slap in the face of the developers that we don't care enough about their efforts. And I think that's sad. You know what I mean? I think if I was a developer and a game developer, I would be upset about that myself. I mean, the very fact that you're playing my game is great. But the very fact that you want to play my game and you want to find ways to work around the stuff that I created for people to, bring some kind of enjoyment to them, then that would bother me. And that's why game developers they don't like speedrunners. They don't. They don't like when speedrunners find loopholes in their development. And that might be cool, but usually if you watch the game developers who watch speedrunners, you'll see that they will repair their game after that. They literally will take something out of the game that the speedrunners were doing in order to bring that back to like normal. Where you're not using an exploit or a certain technique to get around their stuff. There'll be an update in that game, and then you'll be pissed that your speed run gets changed, and you can't do your speed run no more. But time gating is an easy way to stop people from ripping through content and then complaining about it. That's why they time gate. They still get the complaints, but they're not going to change that. Because technically, we'll only go up to level 50. We don't have enough content really the last 6 weeks. There's really not enough content the last 6 weeks as far as like the game itself. The other shit like building your base, adding stuff, the farming, all that. That's just stuff to occupy some time. But that's not really part of the game per se. Because the game is really the quest line that they have, since they have a quest line. They need to add some more questing to the game, and they'll be fine. Where do I gotta go? Over here. You just add some more questing, then you get what you need. Everybody gets what they need. It becomes a lot easier. Yeah, it is. How they do the... Yeah, you're right. That's part... Yeah, if you're watching the same show as I am, you've already seen it. That's what I was explaining, yeah. Exactly what you just said. They are always trying to fix the speedrun exploits.
Bounce builds. I don't like bounce builds. I'm sorry, Arn. My bad. I don't. I don't care for bounce builds. I see people play with them. I think it could be fun, right? Seeing that, but I'm not a big fan of them. Now, for my turret, if I can get that as a specialty, I will, because that gives your turret 30% increased damage and a chance to bounce to one other mob. And if you got like 10 turrets shooting all at the same time, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of bounce builds. Sorry, that typing shit. I don't know if it's unusable. I mean, again, it's effective for the turrets when you're like trying to do your clears and shit, your Cortex clears. But I don't see a lot of people running bounce. I've tried bounce. Again, it's another build I tried. I just didn't like it. I didn't see incredible damage from it. Oh, I don't got to talk to her. See, here I am. I'm not focusing on my quest at all. But no, bounce sucks. I'm going to just say it outright. I know I said earlier, like, any build is feasible, and bounce builds can be, but I've never seen a really good bounce build. I've never heard anyone go, yo, know what? I'm playing bounce. It's the best build ever. Who's saying? Oh, someone's watching my stream. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it's not. He just said, is that you? Oh, my God. That's funny. Nah, bounce build? Hell no. Look, that was funny though, because I said I've never seen it, and then he just posted it in chat. But no, really, like I've never seen anybody raving about bounce in game. I think that clears everything except for maybe something like that. Let me go get that real quick. How'd I forget that anyway? Yeah, I tried to get into the hard. I tried to get into a hard server when I switched over, and it wouldn't let me. I had to go into a normal server. They were all locked on me. But then again, like I said, this was server 19. This, number 19, and friggin'... my character was just sitting there. Like, I was playing so many other characters. So I had these two just sitting there, and I stopped playing them altogether. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try and go on to one of the other servers. When I did, it was locked, and I was like, shit. I did try to get in a hard server, though. But I heard it's a pain in the ass for food upkeep and everything. It's like every 10 minutes you guys are popping food. No. My bike. Are you doing? Are you? Well, no, you're not. You're not driving anymore. I was just gonna. No, not you. I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. I mean, if you could find a nice build and then build off of that, if you see any issues with it, I just don't see too many balanced builds. There's gotta, let me check my mods real quick. There's gotta be some nice mods for it, though. I know there's ones that allow it to bounce to more than one, things like that. But I don't know about the damage off of them. Right? Bounce can hit allies, but deals no damage and refills one bullet. So maybe, you know what? It seems like bounce is more of a group build. If you use something like that. Okay, so bounce weak spot. It's a weak spot build. That could be a crit build too. Alright. Nah, but it still pumps weak spot. So it is a weak spot build. That's the only mods I got for it. I probably got some armor mods, but I don't even know what the bounce mods look like in armor. They got to do something with the chest mods too, because I am limited to a crit mod for my chest. That's it. I can go crit, The crit element. I do the element just because, but I might. Let's see. Damage against great ones. See, damage against great ones is something that you need to. Crit, damage against elites. Weak spot damage, don't use. So you got to use a blue mod with this build for the chest. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. And nah, bruh. We've already been through this a million times. This is not a stream to become on trying to like do this shit with the followers. I don't buy followers. I'm not chasing followers. I don't do it. I don't chase followers. I'm not trying to be a YouTube star. I'm too old for that shit. You know, if I get 2 people watching my stream, I'm happy. If I get 1 person watching my stream, I'm happy. So literally, I don't care about that shit. I'm not trying to make money off of the stream. I'm not trying to do none of that. I'm just trying to enjoy the game that I play and possibly spread that love to other people who might watch it and they want to play it. And anybody that comes in, increasing the game numbers helps me out in the long run because that means the game lasts longer. I get more enjoyment out of the game I love. So as far as followers, now I'm not paying for followers. But I appreciate you stopping by, following. Yeah, I know you're a... It's like your 678th bot that you made doing that, but that's not me. If you're real, it ain't me. That's not... I don't buy... I'm never going to buy followers. If I have to buy followers, that means my content isn't worthy enough to even get a follower. And if my content's not worthy enough to get a follower, you know, why buy followers then? Pad your stats? Nah, I'm good with that. I don't do that shit. I think that's basically cheating in the YouTube algorithm. And I don't cheat. Period. In anything. I have values. It's just not... Buying followers is not a good thing. I know you're trying to make money and do your grind, and I appreciate, you know, I respect you for that, you know, the grind part of it. But buying followers is never a good idea. I'll stick with my old cursing and screaming and hollering, and hopefully that'll bring some people in. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. But if they don't like it, you know, that's fine. Got to resort to buying shit. Ugh, man. I got extra money, but I am not wasting money on a fake ass follower. It's not happening. Yeah, I'll never hit you up in Discord either. I gotta be honest. I don't trust any of you. I ain't gonna curse. I don't trust any of you when it comes to that Discord shit. Because you want to show your work and you want to show this and you want to show that. You get people to click on links and then you steal their tokens, the Discord tokens, and then you have their account. Not happening with me, bro. Nope. Part of the reason why I don't even like Discord, because it's too easy to steal someone's Discord token and take their account away from them. Complete. Are we complete? Yes, we are complete. I could start leveling my other character though. And I gotta turn in these other quests. Let me go home real quick. I don't really want to level my other character, but I've done it on every other server, but I'm just tired of leveling characters now. Done level too many of them. Yeah, I don't like it, but I always explain so that so if anybody is watching, they really I have standards and values and shit for gaming, just for gaming. I've been gaming long enough. I was in gaming when most people didn't even know about gaming online. So, literally, we developed the standards and stuff like that in the game. Things like, spawn camping and all. Those are things we made back in the Battlefield days. when people used to camp the spawns and all that other stuff. But anyway, that aside, there's got to be some like gamers etiquette. You know, you got to have some kind of respect for other people. Selling that shit, Scion hard and don't kill it. Okay, let me see. It might be a bit rude, but I don't even acknowledge those comments anymore. Nah, you shouldn't acknowledge them. I do just so that the audience knows that I'm not fucking chasing shit like that. Like, I don't care about money. Again, I got money to buy stuff, but I don't care about it. It's not the focal point in my life, right? So I don't care about spending money on dumb shit if I want to. But I'm not spending money on gaining. If you don't like my content, why am I going to try? Like, I'm not worthy of your view then, right? I'm not worthy of getting views, fake views, and then having real views come in. If my content sucks, my content sucks. I'm okay with that because I am not streaming for that to begin with. I'm streaming so people can see the game and maybe they'll come in and play. Run silo side on hard and don't kill the eggs at the end, and you can get. What do you mean, don't kill the eggs at the end? Are you talking about the spawns for the deviants? Those ones? And just keep killing the spawns? Is that what you're talking about? I think that's what you're talking about. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I think anything that has like infinite spawns, you can make some XP off of. I'd just be afraid to hit the eggs by accident and destroy them. But yeah, that makes sense. Quest turner and the quest turner. I'll get all my materials squared away when I come back. Nah. Those furnace bonuses are becoming an issue too. Less frequent now. I only seen one guy in my entire time playing this game ever have all 4 buffs for the furnace. Okay, so who do I gotta see? Yeah, I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind about the spawn. Because that does seem like a way to get some nice XP if you get a decent build and you can get past. Just sit in there and just farm XP. Isn't there a timer on the silos though? Like you can't sit in there all day, right? Gonna give me a thing about Mary, and then the Mary quest starts, so I still have quests to do. Get out of this, man. I did not want to do that. Get off. Oh, look. See that? See how I jump? What the hell is that? I can't. I gotta go into config. There's gotta be a way to shut that off. Wait, it's- Rewards. Hey, there goes my desk lamp. I need it. Yes. Need that. Need that. Need that. Oh, okay. Wait, what? Really? I never noticed it. That's why I asked. See, this is. I can be. I can tell you a lot about the game, but there's some things I still don't know about the game, and that was one of them. I thought the timer started when you went into. Like when you got into that last room, I thought that's when the timer popped up. I never noticed it before, to be honest with you. So yeah, that makes sense now. You could just sit in there. Damn. Yeah, I might take a look at that. Well, I can't run it on hard though because we're not in that phase yet. We're still stuck in phase one. I got a little bit of time before I can go run anything on hard. But I usually run silos on hard anyway. But I never thought to stop and just gain XP in there. Never, not once did I think that was possible. So knowing it is a good thing. I'll be running that as soon as I can for some XP. If I want that extra XP and I'm bored, I'll just go run that and stay in there. I'll get bored fast anyway. Even when the next phase opens, I'll get bored. But I still play the game. I force myself to play the game anyway. This is other shit you can do in the game. You don't have to focus on that. Deposit, buddy. What's going on here? That was a little slow. Yeah, see? I'm going to have to really look at that. Just give me a heavy. Wait, can I get a heavy out of the deal, please? No, I'm not gonna get my heavy until hard opens up, and then I can go get it. I guess if I run a couple silos, I'll eventually get an SMG drop. I might do that later today. Run some silos, get an SMG drop, and then go from there. See if I can get a heavy off of it, because I need that extra ammo. Oh, because you had mentioned hard. That's why I was saying. All right. I just looked over. Saw your chat. Sorry. Woo! There's a sneeze for you, boy. Gotta go back to him again? Man. I wish they would just show all the quests right away instead of having you. Like, if you have a quest there should be a marker above their heads. Not a quest, like a one telling you to turn it in. So you're not going back to your base and then having to come back because you didn't see it. So he has nothing above him except for that marker after I picked it. Yeah, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. There we go. Now what? Do it. Let me look at the map before I leave. Anything else here, buddy? No? Okay. I have something down here to turn in. What, the silos? So what do you recommend for me to go get the SMG then? I thought the silos were one of the good places to get the guns from. Yeah, but I'm trying to get any SMG where I can, even a blue, because I could temporarily put that on my calibration and then just replace it later, you know, with a purple or a gold. But any type of crit increase, the build is really crit reliant, right? And it's also reliant on ammo. So any type of build that the heavy assault lowers my reload, but increases my magazine size and also increases if you get a crit or a crit LE or an LE. It doesn't really matter, but the crit's better. The reload don't bother us because we generally won't have to reload at a certain point anyway, so it doesn't really matter how slow the reload is. So I need anything that increases, you know, that's why I run the gold accessory for my clip, because I need that 10, you know, the plus 10 bullets for the build. But yeah, I mean, I would rather run it in hard. I've run hard in pro, you know, on everything. So, I mean, I've done Nightmare, Prime Wars, all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff really bothers me too much because usually you're geared enough to go in and do them. But doing it on the low levels is kind of painful. No, I don't need gold. Here, I'll show you. Oh no, I know what you're saying for the gun. But I'm fully gold on all my calibrations except for the chest. That's it. Everything else is, or well, gold mods. Everything else is gold mods. I would love to have a gold calibration heavy. It would be great. Unfortunately, you can't get them in these silos. Not these ones. In the later ones, you can. Like Theta, you can probably get a gold weapon out of there. No, you don't. Give me the loot. I'm a loot fanatic too, man. If it shines, when I snap my fingers, I gotta grab it. No, I wish I was going for gold calibrations too, man. Shit. That would be great. Phase 1, we're stuck in phase. I still got like 18 hours before we go to phase 2. So, I probably won't play phase 2 until tomorrow. Ooh, wall clock, which I probably already have. This is my oldest character in the game, though. Like, it's been around the longest. I can't believe I created so many damn characters, man. I should have just waited and moved off of this first server and just stuck with one character. Plus, I've divided my cosmetics between 2 characters, too. So one has, you know, all these cosmetics on it. The other one has a whole bunch of cosmetics on it. But it's kind of messed up because I have to log both characters on in order to get everything I wanted. I should have just made it all. But they didn't have sharing initially, so that's why I did that. Now they have sharing, and it's messed up my entire way I played the game. Oh, definitely on pro mode. That's all you get is gold, I believe. I don't think you get anything but gold in pro. I mean, the ability to upgrade your mod now, I haven't even tried it. I had just farmed for the mods that I It does. That's how I got my level, my tier 5. Just on accident, coming in here and farming. I should not have used that. I can get more controllers though. Just fight some elites and you get more. Speaking of, I still left one out. What do I want to put in there? No. I use that. Been having a problem with my damn friggin' jelly though. It doesn't come out sometimes when I want it to. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where I get my controllers at. I could be wrong. But I know it used to be that way. It might not be that way anymore. So I just assumed it was still the same. I really haven't changed the way that I play since the betas. I play exactly the same, so I always just refer back to the betas when and then the betas you can kill elites and get controllers. I mean, in the betas, I always had like 160 freaking controllers on me at all times. Yeah, I know, and I just killed one of the eggs. I gotta... See, I was afraid of that I was gonna do that. Because if I go to kill the deviant, they're right next to the egg, and then my AoE winds up hitting it. Could just use the pistol, I guess. Oh shit, no, wait. So you're talking about in here, just go around and gather them up and then come into here? Wait, would they still... They just aggro? Yeah, they are. They're just aggro. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't know about this at all. I didn't know they aggro. Oh, wow, dude. This is unfair. Nope. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. So you do have to go back in. Okay. Ah, you get tons of acid this way too. I just wish they would spawn a little bit faster. I'm gonna have to complete this though. I have to repair and everything, so I gotta finish this out. Sorry. Had to be done. I need my stuff. I'm gonna run that again though. Alright. And I'm gonna go see about see, you do get some gold mods here, but you don't really get anything. I got a strange door. Wow. Go figure. Gotta go back to base. Like, do I hit him at like once, or should I just like stand near him? Because it didn't even seem like they wanted to open up even with me standing near him. So, I'm trying to find like an effective way of just re-aggroing him every single time. Because if I got to stand there like that, that's that's going to get tedious after a while. If there's a ton of mobs coming after me, I can enjoy that. That'll really. That's when the frost build really shines, when there's more mobs. Nah, not for the frost. I'm not worried about that with the frost build. Because they're gonna be. I mean, that frost build can handle 100 of those with no problem, easy. The amount, how fast you can kill and how much aggro damage you can do, and then the proccing from the frost. So, like, the amount of spawns for me don't really matter if they're in one area. So if I'm where I'm supposed to be, like you just said, and they're all right there, it'll be easy for me to kill them. Now, if they're all spread out and they're starting to throw their goo at me and shit, that's a different story. That's what happens in Leia on the last boss, fighting the mother. That's what usually happens. After the second spawn, there's so many aggros, like, all around. And then the dogs come off that second spawn, and they're a pain. Not the dogs, but the guys running around hitting you with their friggin' capes. They're a pain in the ass. That's why I never like doing Leia solo if I don't have to. So I can have somebody helping me concentrate on getting rid of the spawns that happen. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try it, though, again. I'm going to use I might just use like a tier 1 weapon with like a low level bullet in it or something like that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I don't want to use my higher tier weapon. I'd have to use a smaller tier. Yeah, the blanket dogs, dude. Those things in Leia, they're horrible in Leia because it seems like they're smarter or stronger, right? They move differently than they do like out in the world. Them things are a pain in the ass. I can't stand them. I'll start focusing down, one of the fire mobs or one of the electric mobs, and I'm in over the shoulder, like first person view. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm in first person view shooting, because for some reason in first person view it seems like we crit more on that build. Yeah, and then the dog will just hit me out of nowhere because I won't even know it's there. I'll be like, son of a bitch. Then I got to run away and kill that. And it starts doing its little jumping side to side and, jumping forward like 8,000 feet to hit you. It's just a pain. What is going on here? Giveaways. I can't give none of that away. Yeah, because it's got a massive leap to it, man. It's like, it's crazy. When you're over in the area that, like, you're trying to kill the one to fill the snow resonator, or the cold frost resonator, and the dog just jumps out of nowhere. And it's like, what the hell? How did the dog jump that far? Or going into Leia Labs with people who don't know the mechanics of it, that's even more irritating. Because they'll keep killing the shit that I need in order to fill the resonators up. And I'm like, dude, please stop shooting it. It's got to be killed inside. And they don't get it. Because they're so busy fighting that they're not paying attention to what you're saying to them. I'm going to eat this to get rid of it because I don't even need that. Even during the cargo thing, I don't need that. I don't like you, dude. You keep bumping me. Something wrong with that. not a good thing. Don't know why you keep bumping me, buddy. Keep doing it. Yeah, me and him are gonna have a fist fight. Yeah, I got to get something to eat too, bro. I got up this morning, didn't even eat breakfast. Sometimes I get wrapped up into this game and I won't even eat dinner till it's later, and then I'm pissed off because I got to eat late, and I don't like eating late. But just conversation like this right here keeps me occupied too, so I miss a lot. Where'd I put it? Yeah, dude, it's so funny when he says that. Gullah gullah. Gullah gullah. Gullah gullah. I can only do that part. Can't do the other part. What? Wait, what? Anyone want to train Rain Man for like 8 cats? Why are people so hard up about Rain Man? It's a horrible deviant. It is. It's a trash deviant. I think they tried to make it better, but it's still trash. It does one plot. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get something to eat in real life, so I'll be back on probably about an hour. I usually come on quicker than that because I eat fast, but... Wait, crumbly bread gives space damage, and it took me till 2 nights ago to find out. Wait, just regular... Really? I'm going to have to try that out. I didn't even know what that does. Yeah, but it's one. It doesn't do more than one. It gets stuck on one plant. And you can get the Busy Bee. They do rainwater too. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand why people are so like freaked out over it. Yeah, no problem, brother. I'll be back, though. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate you. Anybody else who's watching, because I know I see numbers afterwards, but I don't get a number count on my stream for some reason. But to everyone else, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, it's not your thing. I appreciate that, too, for you stopping by. Have a good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. And, again, I'll be back in like an hour, so have fun. Peace.